Pao na uyu nya lu lo pu kong khao nong he quyền sinh của cái chiều nào
nung na tapi na kan tu ni so ni na ya nung na nung so ko pe chỉ là mà mong thằng mà pa nung so ko pe na ya na nung na nung ko ni pe chỉ ko ni su ko pe thì ko ni hu nung pe thì na pe thì chong cho nu alma to pe na pe thì na to mà ya nung shi cha pe na la se de to to ko
nhìn nó có hai lần nó giờ rộng cơ nó rộng cơ cho là như thế thực tế nó giờ phải chạy cơ tiền mình chỉ sai rồi
có thể nó mấy tụi này ngắn chuyện với một cái xe chỉ bạn tụi tụi vấn đề gì về salon
tất cả nhìn nó lấy cho chỉ là nhìn nó cái trái đất của nó có có hai tiền đâu đi làm mà chỉ tàu tiền chỉ
là bị liên tôn không nào nữa nó ăn thịt lâu mà là liên tôn cha giờ là phải sửa chi sửa được ta sửa được nhá trồng thịt chua thì trồng thịt chua
chỉ lúc này tôi thấy lúc ở nhìn nó đi sẽ đến tôi tại lối tụ bao nhiêu
nhưng mà tôi thấy nó bé chặt tay
故事里还点你那有领导呢，那得叫了做个国他也有。
我呢，做做 A， 我做我做弄啊，做弄我，就写不写不写就就呢，就写不就写。
这种先到从你到这从这个拿我找到呢，就叫。到可能也可以，我这边还必须得么晒是那个叫没补啊，在上的话多在下呢，要你其他的补钱呢，有的呢别找，就没说这晒的，你钱呢其他找都找在，一般的找那些其他的补，多找其他的补，然后给那也别当找，只还叫不太寒，等到叫猪叫被省说的都做了 stay。多年了呀说这多年的那到在他的工作里呢，我要没人我这内。
cái chỗ này chỗ mà我做到咁耐做工時候先，佢係cái gì theo sau đó chỉ con chạy bé rồi là chọn số bé cho mình tôi mình dùng, do là sao chị làm say cái hải môn.
I'm actually down here to pay my respects. As much as I'm here to represent the state of Minnesota and the state senate, and also bring a proclamation from Mayor Chris Coleman, but for 20 plus years, I had the honor to sit at the table with the general, to listen to his counsel. I am one of his children in many ways. I grew up in leadership under his watchful eye, and so I would be here irregardless of whether I was here representing the state. There's no place else I would be on this day but to come and see my old friend and say goodbye to him. So
I'm here to pay respects to the relatives and to the memory of General Vang Pao. I'm a naval aviator, flew Navy fighters, and so I know the mission that he led in Laos and all of those Hmong warriors who fought hard to help our American soldiers out over there and go in and rescue pilots. That's pretty close to me. And so I think he's a tremendous fighter for freedom, and I think that's why you see the huge gathering here today, is because people understand his heart, not just for freedom, but for his people. And I have a letter from Congresswoman Bachmann and from the Republican Chair Tony Sutton that we're going to read, that basically to honor the memory of a great man.
Music了。
ít công kia tình yêu tôi hay có thiên sai có vào lo thảo có vào lo tình chế tìm hoa là sai có nhà bộ tu trà nhau đời rồi nàoท่านนายพลก็อย่าไปจงมองเทจงโคตุจาอีตุเธอเจ้ารองชับเลยยาวตัวเตียนเอาก็ลุเจียลุจีก็ปาไปจงมองอย่าอีกเขาเจจีลอกเกินเก่ายาวตัวเป็นมองลุนั่งเตียนเอาขันตาไปยกเขาชี我论呢，莫来亚当的，那朋友哪儿把么？被多的呢，也被多很高我拉，天晒高我肉个，我咋个路节生？也哩呢，还得个我拉，他个个。tuần chụp li một cả chắp ba cha ya cả to một hoàn nào một chữ một vạ ở phủ nhau trò sổ luôn tuổi chơi chân ya cả xe luôn chỉ ta lên đại sư tháo cả chơi công chơi mong cho cả chỗ mong nhau thông bờ lúc ăn tụ cả số đời tổng nọ tỏท่านนายพลเราเนาะจีจงลีเทียเนี่ยเทียเราละก็อยู่จอก็จงมองเทียจงโอตุจาเจริญเตียไอ้สาก็วันล้อมุญญาเป็นดูแล้วก็ปอฟืปอเยอะก็จงมอง
nhớ trong ý chỗ này cái đường trà mong chúa lần thứ số tụ thiệt thông bờ ông thiệt tây nó nên nó thảo tì là saiท่านในผลว่าปอรู้เจอซึ่งเจอหลานนู้นอย่ารู้ซันเดย์วันที่เจ้าเนี่ยเราลุ่นตรงเฟรสโนกูลงเชียร์แห่งไปถึงหัวชื่อซึ่งนู้นอย่าในผลอนุทักษ์ตัวชาไทยเตยตัวกูมาก่อนเนื้อเคเลยตัวเข่งมันจีปูโรเน่ยังเรากูดีในเจ้าละหายมันจีรูไทยหรือขอกูหายเตานะต่อคอนี่อีตัวในผลไทยไปอย่าต่อละหายรูไทยเราหนึ่งนะแล้วก็ท่านครับสวัสดีครับและขอบคุณมากที่วันนี้ท่านมีโอกาสมาคุยแล้วก็มาคุยกับทางทีวีมงด้วยนะครับแล้วก็ผมก็พยายามจะพูดภาษาไทยอย่างมากที่สุดก่อนอื่นที่สุดนะครับขอให้ท่านช่วยแนะนำตัวเองให้กับคนที่กำลังดูทั่วโลกว่าท่านคือใครแล้วก็มาจากไหนมีความสัมพันธ์อะไรบ้างกับท่านนายพลวังเปานะครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับกับผมพลตรีอนุทัศน์บุญนาคมาจากกองทัพไทยนะครับเป็นกองทัพในพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวได้รับมอบหน้าที่ให้ร่วมงานรับใช้กับท่านนายพลวังเปามาหลายปีนะครับในหลายเรื่องโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งในระยะ 2-3 ปีหลังในเรื่องของการนำความสุขสงบนำความเจริญที่พี่น้องชาวลาวชาวม้งได้ประสบความสำเร็จในประเทศที่3กลับไปดูแลลูกหลานในประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองคือประเทศลาวนะครับซึ่งท่านนายพลวังเปาได้มอบให้ท่านประธานซั่วไปประสานงานกับผมในการที่กลับเข้าไปสร้างมูลนิธิอเมริกันมง Development Foundation ในประเทศลาวเพื่อนำความเจริญไปสู่พี่น้องประชาชนลูกหลานในประเทศลาวครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็วันนี้ซึ่งเป็นวันที่ชาวมงทุกคนก็รอวันว่าสักวันหนึ่งจะได้พบนายพลอนุทักษ์ซึ่งได้ยินชื่อของท่านมามากมายระหว่างปี 2009 จะจบถึง 2010 นะครับแล้วก็มีเรื่องเกี่ยวกับว่าท่านนายพลวังเปาก็เตรียมตัวจะกลับไปเยี่ยมยานบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนของตัวเองซึ่งมีการเกี่ยวข้องกับท่านนายพลอนุทักษ์ด้วยท่านช่วยอธิบายแล้วก็เล่าให้ทุกคนฟังว่ามันมีการเป็นมาได้เป็นยังไงบ้างนะครับ
คือที่มานะครับคือเริ่มมาจากความเมตตากรุณาของท่านนายพลวังเปาที่ไม่เคยยศเป็นผู้คนที่สูงส่งไม่เคยถือยศถือศักดิ์ท่านนายพลวังเปาได้นำพวกเรามาอยู่ในประเทศที่3เป็นเวลา35 ปีแล้วท่านได้คนดำรงความดีคุณความดีดูแลพวกเราพี่น้องชาวลาวชาวมงมาโดยตลอดจนกระทั่งพวกเรานั้นได้ประสบความสำเร็จในประเทศที่3อย่างยิ่งนะครับท่านนายพลวังเปาก็มอบให้ท่านประธานซั่ว ซึ่งเป็นประธาน18ตระกูลของพี่น้องชาวม้งประสานงานกับผมว่าจะทำยังไงเราถึงจะนำความเจริญกลับไปดูแลลูกหลานชาวลาวชาวม้งในประเทศลาวซึ่งเป็นประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนนะครับกับผมก็ได้ประสานงานกับรัฐบาลลาวกองทัพลาวแล้วก็โปลิตบูโรของประเทศลาวในเรื่องของการขออนุญาตร่วมกันในโครงการเรียกว่า reconciliation คือการปรองดองแห่งชาติคือตามที่ท่านในพลวางเปามอบภารกิจให้ผมคือไปขอให้อธิบายให้ทางประเทศลาวฟังว่าไม่มีการโกรธกันเคืองกันที่แล้วมันเป็นอดีตผ่านไปแล้ว
ให้มันผ่านไป
ให้ผ่านไปนำสิ่งที่ดีไปให้กับลูกหลานนั่นคือสิ่งที่ท่านพลวางเปามอบให้ประธานซั่วให้ผมไปทำงานให้ซึ่งเราทำงานมาพอสมควรนะครับแล้วก็ใกล้ที่จะได้รับอนุญาตให้เรียนเชิญท่านพลวางเปาและคณะกลับไปโดยยกเลิกโทษทันหรือว่าอะไรสิ่งที่บาดหมางดั้งเดิมหมดนะครับเพียงแต่ว่าโอกาสนี้ท่านในพลวางเปาได้จากพวกเราไปซะก่อนแต่อย่างไรก็ตามก่อนที่ท่านจะจากไปผมได้รับทราบว่าท่านในพลวางเปามอบให้บุตรชายท่านพลวางเปาหลายท่านแล้วก็ท่านประธานซั่วให้สืบต่องานมูลที่อันนี้ซึ่งท่านในพลวางเปาได้ตั้งชื่อมูลที่นี้ว่า American Hmong Development Foundation
American Hmong Development
ครับเพื่อนำการพัฒนาสิ่งที่พวกเราพี่น้องชาวม้งมีอยู่ใน35ปีในอเมริกาในประเทศต่างเนี่ยกลับไปพัฒนาประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็อีกคำถามหนึ่งที่ผมอยากถามผมรู้ว่าเวลาเขาก็อยากให้ท่านเข้าไปข้างในแต่ว่าสิ่งสำคัญที่สุดท่านในพลวังเปาแต่ไหนแต่ใดมามีความสัมพันธ์อย่างดียิ่งกับเมืองไทยและก็พระมหากษัตริย์ไทยขอให้ท่านในพลอนุทักษ์ช่วยอธิบายหรือว่าสิ่งที่ท่านรู้เกี่ยวกับความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างท่านในพลวังเปาและก็ประเทศไทยรัฐบาลไทยและก็พิเศษที่สุดก็คือพระมหากษัตริย์ไทยนะครับ
คือผมจะกราบเรียนว่าเป็นประวัติศาสตร์ที่น่ายกย่องได้น่าทึ่งที่สุดนะครับประเทศไทยเรายึดถือเสมอว่าท่านในพลวางเปาเป็นบุคคลสำคัญบุคคลหนึ่งที่มีส่วนร่วมในการรักษาเสรีภาพและเอกราชและก็ระบอบประชาธิปไตยของประเทศไทยมาจนตราบจนทุกวันนี้นะครับเพราะว่าพวกเราอาจจะห่างไกลจากประวัติศาสตร์แต่ผมจะกราบเรียนว่าในปี 1968 นั้นท่านในพลวางเปาได้ไปเข้าเฝ้าพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวไทยนะครับแล้วก็ได้ร่วมหลังจากนั้นก็ได้ร่วมกับกองทัพไทยในการทำสงครามปกปักรักษาเสรีภาพประชาธิปไตยในเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ของเราครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็ผมรู้ว่าท่านในพลต้องได้ลาจากที่นี่ไปหรือว่าไปที่อื่นแต่ว่าขอบคุณมากๆมีสิ่งไหนอีกไหมที่ท่านในพลอยากจะกล่าวให้กับประชาชนอยู่ไม่ใช่แค่ประเทศสหรัฐอเมริกาแต่ว่าอยู่ในโลกนี้ที่ให้เขาจำแล้วก็รู้จักท่านในพลวังเปาแล้วก็ความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างท่านแล้วก็ท่านในพลวังเปาครับมีอีกไหมที่อยากจะกล่าวนะครับ
ผมอยากจะกราบเรียนว่าท่านในพลวังเปาท่านเป็นบุคคลที่ผมเรียกได้ว่าเป็นพ่อของผมคนหนึ่งนะครับท่านมีความเสียสละอย่างยิ่งและสิ่งที่ท่านทำและมอบให้พวกกับผมท่านประธานซั่วทำคือนำความเจริญที่พวกเราได้รับมานี้กลับไปดูแลลูกหลานในประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนซึ่งเป็นสิ่งที่หายากที่สุดครับผมครับสำหรับบุคคลที่น่าเคารพย่องอย่างท่านในพลวางเปาครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็วันนี้ผมต้องกราบขอบคุณท่านมากๆด้วยที่ให้เวลามาให้กับทางทีวีเราด้วยนะครับแล้วก็โชคดีกับท่านด้วยครับขอบคุณมากครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
John Kecker yaitu ท่านในพลว่าปอตัวattorney to lead attorney to General Vang Pao ขอ case ว่าเขา federal against ดือนนั้นหุ่นไปตรงเชียว่าตาว John so John thank you very much for talking to us
Pleasure.
and as I introduced John Kecker is the lead attorney for General Vang Pao case the federal against Hmong or against General Vang Pao and he's here today not because of anything but to pay tribute to General Vang Pao in his memorial service so John it's anything would you like to tell us about what you know about General Vang Pao before we go on?
Well, I just said what I know about General Vang Pao is that I met him in a Sacramento hospital where he was being guarded as though he might escape It was a completely false and wrong accusation. It took the government too long, a couple of years, to recognize it, and even then, when they dismissed the case against him, they did not apologize, they did not recognize that they had wrongfully accused a great man, and they should be ashamed, and I hope they are ashamed.
And for that, John, before we talk about the memorial service today, what Hmong would like to know is that know what you knew about General Vang Pao. When the very first time when you met with him, did he make you feel any different than any thousands of clients you have previously represented in your career?
I knew I was in the presence of a great man, a great warrior, a man who had survived many wounds, many helicopter crashes, many plane crashes. He was a man of fate, and he was a lot different than most of my clients. I was impressed right away, even as he lay in the hospital bed, almost semi-conscious at times.
And then let's move on to a little bit to the demonstration that 1,000 of Hmong, 10,000 of Hmong demonstrate outside the court, and I was there, and many people was there as well, and we saw you stand next to General Vang Pao and proclaim, confidently that the case would prevail. Can you describe to us the feeling at the time before they dropped the case?
Well, the feeling in the middle of that demonstration was something that I've never experienced. I have never seen such dedicated solidarity for somebody who is in trouble with the U.S. government, and it made my heart glad. I know it made his heart glad, and it made his burden much more tolerable.
I'm sure all of us have the same feeling, but mostly now, John, we know that the case is very difficult. The sin is predicted to be life in prison. Did it worry you at all when you volunteered to take the case?
Well, you always worry if the government comes after you, but I never doubted that he was innocent and that he would be that innocence would be recognized. It just, as I said, took longer than I had hoped.
I see. From June 4th to September 29, I believe, 2009, when they dropped General Vang Pao off the case. Can you describe a little bit about that to us, please?
Well, we were trying to get to the bottom of what the government had done. We were trying to learn more about this secret agent who had stirred things up. We finally found out that many of the things that he had said under oath were completely false, and began to complain about that to the judge and to the Justice Department. So that was the work that was going on during that period.
I see. At that time, John, we know that you have years of experience, practice law. Did it surprise you that the U.S. government actually brought this huge of a case against their ally, their best friend, that worked for them and defend the freedom and democracy, not just for Hmong, but for the system of democracy in the world? Did it surprise you at all?
Unfortunately, the fact that the government makes mistakes, or that some parts of the government don't know anything about other parts of the government, doesn't surprise me, and that's what happened here. Some Justice Department prosecutors were taken for a ride by a DEA agent who shouldn't have been in the job, and I don't think they knew who they were dealing with. They certainly didn't know anything about the Hmong people, and they had information that was just plain bad.
Let's turn a little bit to the funny part of it, is that the contractor who was supposed to supply the weapon in Arizona, what was he really is? I mean, what kind of business he really doing? Or is he an official contract that actually work with the United States government?
No, the whole thing on the government's part, on the government agent's part, was one big scam. He lied about who he was, he lied about what he could do, he lied about what should be done, but the part that I want to get across about General Vang Pao had nothing to do with this guy, and completely disapproved even of the scam that he was running. He didn't know it was a scam, but he disapproved of it. That's why he never should have been prosecuted.
One thing the Hmong community around the world like to know is that did General Vang Pao and the crew really went out and touch or actually try to purchase the weapon claimed to be by the U.S. government, or are they just viewing some picture advertised by an undercover agent, sir?
General Vang Pao at one point was shown some weapons by this undercover agent. He never agreed to have anything to do with them, never agreed to have them bought, never agreed to any scheme, and the problem was that the agent lied about that, and it took a while to prove that he lied about it, but it became pretty plain that he was lying. General Vang Pao had nothing to do with it, thought it was a bad idea, and some of the others got more tempted, but they eventually thought it was a bad idea too. The thing was never going to go anywhere.
Be sure you have some special moment with General Vang Pao, or talk to him in a certain way that none of us can or could. Can you describe what is he really like his people to do, and what his mission or goal for his people, Hmong people?
Well, all I can tell you, when I talked to General Vang Pao, he was always a general, and I was always a lieutenant. So he never stopped being a general. And obviously, you know as much about his mission for the Hmong people. He wants people to stay together. He wants human rights in Laos. He wants peace and respect among people, and he wants the Hmong to do as well as they possibly can, get educated, and live as Americans, respecting one another.
Let me get to the sad part of it. January 6th of 2011 is the day that every Hmong that loved him, every Hmong that knew him, heard the worst, the bad news about his death. Where were you, and did you hear about immediately, and what is your reaction about his death?
I heard about it immediately. I was very sad, but I must say, everybody has to die, and I was awfully glad that General Vang Pao could die a free, vindicated man. I was always worried, because he'd been sick before, that sometime in the middle of this crazy case, he might die and not be vindicated. So I was very glad that he could at least enjoy the fact that the government finally admitted that they were wrong.
Absolutely. A few days after he left his people, and a few days after he felt that perhaps it would never happen, but it happened. They dropped the entire case on January 10. Sir, what is your reaction?
I was ecstatic and was glad to see this case completely done.
Absolutely. And today, John, you're here today. Every time when you talk to General Vang Pao, it's how he would represent or talk to his people. But this time when you see thousands of Hmong pay tribute for him, and seeing him lie on a casket covered with American flag. What's your reaction, sir?
My reaction is what I said. He's a great man. He's up there with George Washington as a person who's a great warrior, but is a person who brought his people together. And he gave me this ring the last time I saw him. I treasure it. It's absolutely beautiful, and I will keep it with me the rest of my life.
Is there anything else, as a lead attorney for General Vang Pao, would you like to tell the people who are watching around the world, not just in America or different TV, but on internet as well? What is your message to them on behalf of General Vang Pao, sir?
Tell your children what a great man he was, and remember him.
And thank you very much, John. Thank you, and pleasure to meet with you, and may God bless you as well. Thank you. Which is a really good way to do it. ว่าปอจอรุ่นเด่นจอ volunteer แล้วอย่างเคตัวนู้นตัวมอเฉลยนอจำเป็นเฉลยตัวได้ตัวแล้วกูว่าเราว่าหมอว่ารงเทียกาแล้วกูว่าหูอีมงสิ่งที่ตัวเขาหรือแล้วไม่อยากจะน่าในตัว volunteer ตัวอีมงอีตามอละ very good 我转到什么内嘛，别听我忙呢。แล้วเฉลยพวกเรื่องหายูนิฟอร์มนะที่ชอบเลยจะในปอนนั่นเลยจะตัว volunteer จะล่อจะยาวจะเนี่ยเจ๊เฉลยนะจะน้อยจะเนี่ยว่าหมอล่ะ
ลูกป้าตัวเก้าตีเจ้าหมูเอก็รู้ว่าลูกเจโศกดูเช่งเป็นนาทีเนอะ
我nhớ đông sự của họ nhớ cho nên là cho Doctor Charlie Water thiên Doctor chú cha giờ auto Charlie kế na Doctor Charlie chú cha gỡ là thản nó bị chỉ hay cho làท่านในผลว่าปอจะซึ่งจะล้านเนี่ยแต่อย่าหวังเกษาแต่จีนยอท่านในผลว่าปอเตาเลยจีนยอทีนี้ชื่อชีแล้วท่านในผลว่าปอเนาะบุรีตีแล้วก็เราให้เราเกิดอย่าไปให้ไม่จีนลูมิกาอ่ะนี่เนาะ so Charlie today it's really a sad day for Hmong around the world. And before I ask you a few questions, I'd like you to tell the audience who's watching right now, given the relationship that you know General Vang Pao, and how is that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I haven't had time to mourn. My heart's breaking because he was a great friend, he was a great man, he was a statesman, and he was a general. He was a great leader. It's very sad to watch what's going on. It still hasn't hit me because I saw him every day until he passed away from the day he went in the hospital. Right now I'm deeply concerned because we were turned down by the Arlington, by the Army to be buried in Arlington for reasons that don't make sense. He said that it would take up the space of a veteran. I'm a veteran. I told him I would give him my space. He could have my space. He needs to be where the future Hmong, the young Hmong, would have somewhere to go to see a hero, to see a statue, to see him buried with all the other heroes. They have actors, actresses, they have French, they have English military, they have pilots from the world, they have a German POW, an Italian POW, all these friends of presidents buried there. And why can't this incredible military leader who fought this war with the brave Hmong warriors for 15 years in the damn war?
Doctor ชื่อก็อย่าไปอีหลังตีก็อย่าอีถุงย่อเจนท่านในผลว่าปอเราเนาะ specifically ให้เจ้าขอแล้วจีการแล้วท่านในผลว่าปอเจ้าในรู้เจมือถือเทียไป Arlington Cemetery ก็อวดสีเนี่ยก็หอมวกเก๋สาเทียเก๋ปอรงลิกาให้เจ้าของตัวเทีย
ให้เจ้าของเดี๋ยวเนาะกูอยากให้ตัว member เนี่ยเขารู้ Central Committee เดี๋ยวในภาวะปอลุ่นเต็งเทียไปจ่องมงตันทอเนี่ยต้องเตะเนี่ยเขา fresh ของเราเนี่ยเตะเจออเมริกาไปตัวของเราจะอินุตื่นเก่าเชียร์ตัวเก่าชี้เชียร์ตัวที่หนึ่งไปยัง
và thế chia sẻ thì lúc tới chờ mấy cái nó do honor thì món này phong bỏ lúc chỉ cho một sự đó bé inu sư từ chuyện bên nó thì bé Arlington lúc board bé là turn down là.
Dr. Charlie, is my other question to you is, General Vang Pao is one of many leaders in the world that cooperate or agree to help the United States of America fight against their enemy, their interests around the world. If the United States government rejected the general on his last day on earth, what is going to happen to the other airlines around the world? What do you think?
Yeah, let me tell you, it was not the government. It was a group of idiots, absolute mindless idiots that pressed the wrong button. It was done electronically by a committee. This committee does not represent us. He doesn't represent me. They represent themselves and some damn policy. But we can overcome that. It is not the government, nor is it the people rejecting. The people want, the veterans want. The Vietnam veterans even came out and said for it. I'm with the American Legion. Let me tell you, it was a group of misinformed idiots that made that decision. The Secretary of Army should apologize immediately to the Hmong people. How dare he? He said, well, I'll go along with the vote. Sure, he doesn't have a brain of his own if he did that. I don't care who he is. The Hmongs served this country. They died for this country. They spilled blood for this country. They lost everything they had. They lost their homes. They lost their property. They went to they came here to a foreign country where they had to learn a new language. Thank God they're here. You're an incredible addition to us. But we don't ever think it's the government. It's the individuals, the bureaucrats that work in the government. Individuals like you and I, not the government, not the people speaking. We love you. We're not. I guarantee you, you are respected and cared for and wanted here. And the youth should honor the veterans. And we want him buried there so that the youth, for centuries to come, will look back and say, look, here was a Hmong hero. He's buried here with the other heroes, the George Washington, the other heroes.
Dr. Charlie, is one more question I'd like to ask you about the burial at Arlington Cemetery. Is that if the United States government or sub-board or board committee rejected his burial over at the Arlington Cemetery, we as Hmong people that we have talked to, as a reporter, I believe that will be a big mistake. What do you think?
I think it's a big mistake not burying him there. It's a horrible mistake. I offered him my grave. I offered him as a combat veteran from Korea. I offered, and they wouldn't answer me because I'm not dead yet. I have to die first.
สิงคโปร์มินิสุราตัว
สิริลูกกองในตัวในยอลูกกองกุลิจ่า
ลูกของยามอง United Women Association
อยู่ในมองวุ้นแม่นอมินิสตาอย่างในตัวจนในผมรู้ได้ชีอยู่หายโจในผมว่าปอดแท้
เป้กุมบ้านมินจีตัวหายตัวเป้ยาวเลยแต่เป้จีว่าปอจะเป้เชยเลยเทีย
สิริในผมว่าปอตอนใจในสิริหายตัวชาปอนเนี่ยในสุดตัวกุยปอนเนี่ยในสาลิกาเซอร์
ตัวเชียชับเลยแต่เป้ตัวว่าจะเป้เชยเลยเทียเป้เวลาหายนอนนู่นเป้กูตัวชวนโอจอกเกอร์ตอนนี้เขาอีกเขาเชียกี่รงเชียกี่ตัวเชียแต่ชิมาลิจาเราตัวปอเชยเลยกี่เป้กูรงเชียหายแต่เชยเลยกูเขาจะเป้จีเลยแต่ลูกชัวจะเป้จีเทีย
อย่าเลี้ยวก็ในก็ผมรู้ได้ชีหายตัวจอเนี่ยจะกินจ้าว่าเสด็จแท้
กูชิมาชินโตเฮียแต่ชีรงเชียจีนในสวัสดิ์ตัวเราอยากจะเนี่ยจะจีนู่นตัวเชียหายแต่อีเชียตัวต่ออีเชียตัวจีต่อเป้ตัวนู่นเชียเป้ตัวเกยรงเชียแต่ชีเป้ตัวเกยตัวเชียเราอยากจะเป้ตัวเหอเป้จีเราเกิดตรงนู่น
จิตตานเนี่ยสิริจินน่ะผมว่าปอตอนใจเป้เสด็จมูอย่าชิมนุตะกันเราเลยให้จอเนี่ยตัวชาปนเนี่ยในเกษาในให้จอเป็นรุ่นเนี่ยอย่าไปช่วยในยุคลิจ่า
อย่าอีกขอตัวเชียกันก็ไปจีว่าแต่มองจะไปเจอเลยเป็นรุ่นนี้อย่าตอนเต้ bây giờ tao xin lu bây giờ nhiệt gì chứ cho viên giàu bây giờ cái tin mong sẽ đời bây giờ tao muốn cho cái xin lu xin còn xia nhưng họ thì bây chỉ xin lu chỉ còn xia thì bây giờ chỉ bạc áo luôn nên một lời giá tận tệ lời nó nói như nó tôi xia hàng bây giờ cho nhiệt chế nhau cho mình là sao ra thở bây gì cho bây giờ bây giờ tôi muốn đánh hỏi bây gì cho lúc lò family mình là sao ra bây giờ ban nhiệt chế tôi muốn kia đây nụ và lấy pro nó pro hậu thì tôiว่าtôi chế bây giờ nó và bây giờ cái tôi đó nó cho bây giờ nhiệt chế nhau cho bây mình là sao ra lò pha lụt cái một trò lỡ hạt bây cho đây nụ trò lỡ sẽ đợi còn lỡ nhấp bây lò lỡ sao hạt bây tôi cho nó bây tôi cho thì tiền lỡ bây giờ tôi sẽ chế nó bây giờ nhiệt chế sẽ đợi li tôi sẽ đợi tu nó nói như nó tôi xía tôi chỉ này sẽ đợi thì tổng bây giờ lúc vẫn tăng nó
xử lý thầu một son đôi đôi bểนะผมว่าพอรู้เล่เลยอย่าลุ้นแต่งเปเลยเนี่ยอยู่หายลิจ่าเนี่ยเราก็รู้เชื่ออยู่หายลิจ่าโต
như vậy khó cái tu sát hay bây giờ chỉ buộc cá hay bây giờ hà tàu lên tràn rồi
giờ thầu bé muốn sắp bé là bây giờ ít cho nè trẻ bây giờ tôi sẽ cần cầu luôn châu như hay chỉ tàu lên lúc có mua bông là giờ con nói giờ khỏi bây giờ bên nè lúc bệnh sử sư cho khá tiền một cho sư của một những bông là sao tiền cho tôi nàyยังrong ý dạng đi cụ sáng nó thế
cái liệu của cho nên đó này tàu tua này để này là United Hmong Women of Minnesota tàu tua của lúc con trên là theo cho tàu này
ô châu à
nhảy trong lũ toàn lỡ cho đi chỉ tôi bỏ cho đi hãy xuống đi đi là chân chi chân cho tổng công lẫn chi đi qua đó về ta hổ đi tốt
hai đô trồng mong cho đời Euro mong tiền cũng như lú lú cho đời tu cho đời lúc nên được các thọ nhẹ ở pluon dễ đi chỉ muốn nó cho là có chân đâu có nên nó mua hậu để tôi thở tí cho nó biết chịu sử dụng bây giờ là những con nó chỉ bao chỉ chế nhưng cha mong ổn định rong là lý thành để chỉ hai rồi cho cái tiếng cha mong mà để cứ ngồi sẽ được xí lu nó sẽ được hiện tại nó về mong chỉ tàu thì sẽ được chủ xí lu sẽ được thêm món năng qua hay là chỉ xí hồ con đầu cá chế ý là lúc có phải pha này mua ở chợ lúa ít cho để ít cho mua cho nó rất là xin chú để những khu nhà thứ thứ giờ mà chơi được tàu sầu chơi được nó nghe xong ổn định đầu giờ tàu xí lúc còn nó có ai cũng có ai quá chỉ là phát sản thì phát tài gì nhớ được sẽ được bỏ ra ngoài từ từ tôi cho nó sẽ được sâu tuần đầu thì hay ở chỉ tàu nó mà lúng đua khả năng là cái chân chân làm một lớp của luôn đấy mà chỉ bu cho cái tí sĩ thanh đó nhưng xài cho cái tí nhớ về phải nổ giờ cho đá cho qua mà lấy thế liệu qua tàu cả tìm mấy tìm nó thì ta mình thu nhiều sẽ để trồng nông luôn thì lúc cũ là ấy tên nhà chán tu lửa lý trả là cả sao chỉ thanh mà cú đua là cú yêu cho cũng cho mong thế luôn cho cứ tin trả sẽ được tan đó thế thì cũng chỉ cho ý chỉ muốn còn nó vậy cho đủ cú phát triển nó cho sẽ đời nó thì có sẽ được nhau tạo khai sẽ được xí lưu đỡ cú luôn đánh 是咱得莫贴莫去都是的，是的，因为我可送，我也送给我，那个หรือเตียไปถ้าใครว่าติดตัวคือว่าติดตัวไอ้ที่เจอที่มันต้องนั่งว่า我这里专门到也到海去现在老就去木一路了木一路那到啥地家是因为我这里不还的还是种着的这老了不去拍照因因为都那么一路怎么也叫咱们咁多他给他跟着给我们，不是讲呢，我到不那么着急，咱们呢，那个生活成绩朦胧那种都帮我比较慢慢，这一样的对那点，看到也好被我到了呢，也用个。尤其差手那地了，哎呀，那我要等的，肯定是的，去路。
Nó lấy chữ con nào? Thế là lấy sao? Lấy chữ con nào to?
You can back up a little bit.
từ đó là gì đó sẽ để ít chỗ đặc cả là cái chỗ hoa lưỡi nữa là ít chỗ là cao
khẩu can này
nó ít chỗ là cao cho nó bên trong khi
tan rồi ít xí năng
Tên cầu bà và tôi lỗ nên tôi tập tác tôi lỗ
lúc nào vậy nó tụ xe còn lúc là bây giờ thằng này phun to cho nó chạy chén để nó bây giờ không sợ để tôi để nó tôi trong cơ kia đi thì xí mà tụ xe rồi họ để bây tôi chỉ bỏ nên tôi bỏ nên tôi sẽ họ qua đó sẽ được chầu đá thế và nên thì cái tên này trả nên sẽ được cho nhau đây để cho tôi để nó ta chỉ họ cho nó họ chuyển tiền thế họ rong đồ bây trồng không sẽ được cho nên tôi nhau được nó bây trồng không sẽ được giờ tàu rong thế bây giờ tàu nó tàu ba tàu vừa rồi giờ tàu đen cả nên sẽ được cho xe thế
bây giờ tụi họ tôi nhau tôi là phát triển để nó về trong cái tin trả lời có nên tôi trong thường của tôi nó chỉ thấy một số cái đó là một muốn này bây giờ là nhìn tụ xe cái này
nó cô chỉ hay nó kỹ rồi sao hay nó cho kỹ pin mau lúc này tụ xe cho nó nói hay nó cả tôi lo như như sao nó cũng
thật là hoa
vậy loại cho phát gọi là nhà liền
ok nó sẽ quay trở lại đó
Okay, step nè nó nè. Step nè. Step nhá nó. Step á.
Tên tái này nó mà
Hồi đây đó. Hồi đây. Rồi. Chúng sẽ để đây thôi mà.
Đó, nó lúc giọt đó.
Just a little further.
okay
Fine, lower gently.
lo chỉ phòng là phải bỏ em quên cái phòng là sầu bác sĩ này chỉ cho bỏ thế không cái giờ tham quan thắng
Ở đây á. Hả?
Qua lại giờ chỉ bỏ bên
Ở đây á. Hả?
qua lại giờ chỉ bỏ bên
rất là sợ rất là sợ là con con nó
เขาจะเป็นที่เจ้าเด้อเขาจะเป็นที่เจ้าจีนเขาจะเป็นที่เจ้าอีกทีนึงจะบอกให้บอกเลย
luôn rồi chủ số 2 luôn
นี่จ้าเนี่ยก็ไอ้ก็งานมุดเนี่ยส่งนะ
On behalf of Grateful Nation, we wish to present you with this flag as a token of our appreciation for your sacrifices and service our Please accept this.
ta giống cái nó chỉ nấy giờ để về này có bên phố bên thành phố
có khai hả
这就可能3个老头到这就干，搞砸多了，天砸多了，天。
đó thì không đúng tờ hay trên cái tháp
tộc tên thế gì?
to uống được cái trong này to cho này to có uống được cái trong này sẽ chụp uống này
rồi sao hiện tại chỉ mua
thật cho nó giờ phải cho cái rong trong lời nó nha nó cho cái giờ cho nó cái chữ rồi nó sẽ thành công cho nó có thể nó có thể rong để nó còn có chữ để nó có thể chụp mong thật lời
Guys, can you make us a room?
Okay, tại mấy xe chị đám gì đó.
Thì nó trống này hả?
Cho nó chị.
cái cho tao cắt cái lò lấy mà cái lò mùi lò sao tao lò cái tao lò cái lò mùi
Sao tao nói đi ra đâu một ba đâu rồi mà tao làm mua mà đi ra một ba đâu rồi sao đâu mà tao làm mua nữa
ok tiền gì em tao pa thì này phong tóc qua rồi nó bé cho mấy đứa mấy nhỏ do dâu thì món nút thôi nữa em vào đi trả là thì này phong lo tao chạy mua là lo những xe công ty mong tận thôi thì bé cho nhau hậu nó cho nhau cho professional nhau America tết cả thay tết rồi tết rồi những xe công mong tận thôi